All right, so now it's time to do some examples. All right, I've prepared one in advance, but we're going to go through some examples live in the brain, so you can see my thought process and maybe see how you should think about answering these questions. Okay, let's take a look. So, answering basic questions, examples. Example number one, tell me about your hometown. We all have answered this question before. How do you usually answer it? Oh, my hometown is small, my hometown is big, my hometown is in the countryside. The name of my hometown blah, 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 friendly and blah, blah, boring. You need to connect with your examiner. Your examiner needs to like you. Or even if they don't like you, they should understand you, and they shouldn't see you as just a test taker. They need to see you as a person. If they see you as a person, they will not fail you. They will not give you a low score because they know you are a person who has dreams and who has feelings and who has a life and who has potential, and they will identify, they will connect, and they will have empathy. They will send you on your way with a good band score. So, tell me about your hometown. If I answer this, I would say something like, I'm from Chodao. That's step one. I've written the steps of how you answer the question. Just like it says down here, step one, step two, step three. You answer. I will answer every single question throughout this course. Every time I speak an answer to a question, it will look like this. And you should do the same. So, step one is called simple answer. Right? Normally, one of the later step parts, it's best practice to give a lead in. Oh, that's a good question. But in this case, it's not necessary. I'm from Chodao. Simple answer. Step one done. I finished step one, I'm in band 3. Step 2 is called tell your thoughts or feelings. All right, now there's some things to go over about step 2. You can see the details of how to create step 2 by watching the step 2 lesson. But here, let's do it. They always begin with, I think or I feel. So, I feel, just pick a word from the list. You will notice in the emotions list, I added a few more words. Just the most basic words that easy to forget. So, I added friendly, I added happy. How did we miss happy? I don't know. I had to add happy. I added sad or sadness. Miss for missing people, right? And also regret. I probably won't use it, but you may. It depends on your personality. In general, I think it's best to be light. I think it's best to be light or positive during the test, but some people just are heavy. Some people are heavy. They like to speak about heavier subjects, heavier feelings, and that also can help you connect if it is honest. Anyway, always be honest. I feel love. It's an emotion word. You can say it. You don't have to say I love somebody. Love is an emotion. I feel love when I think about it. All right? Step 1. I'm from Chodao. Step 2. I feel love when I think about it because I miss the friendly people there. Because I miss the friendly people there. I miss the friendly people. baby words, but we're using them to tell our emotions. Right? A baby will just make a sentence, but we are giving feelings, telling a story. All right? Tell me about your hometown. Oh, sure. I'm from Chodao. I feel love whenever I think about it. I miss the people. They were friendly. Step 3 is where you tell a story about someone with a name. Tell a story about someone with a name. The shortcut name for step 3 is called the for example step. Step 1 is simple answer. Step 2 is I think or I feel, blah, 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 because, blah, blah, blah. And then step 3 is for example. Now, for example, doesn't have to fit perfectly. This is to switch your mind into past tense mode. Right? It's difficult because some people want to start teaching. That's not what we're doing. We're telling a story. Telling a story. Actually, I should probably add this. I may add this into the official lesson for step 3. For example, I have a story. I often stroll. That just means walk, but walk is very basic. And I want to show that I was in a light mood when I was walking. So I say stroll. I often stroll around the pagoda. Now, if you're from Chodao, you might know the pagoda that I often went to. It had a lake. It was like a small, like man-made channel for koi fish and lily pads. And then in the center was like a little prayer house, a temple that you couldn't go in. And on the outsides, there was like a bridge. It was like a bridge over the lake that had some, I don't know, they had like dragons. They had dragons and lions. I don't know, I'm not doing a good job of describing it. Go to Chodao. It's a very nice, peaceful, temple complex there. Actually, that's the place, yeah, and they have a giant Buddha statue there. And then a bunch of like carved gods and gods. Anyway, look up. Everyone who's from Chodao knows what I'm talking about. I went to that place, and that's where I used to. I actually was jogging, but just for an example, I'm saying stroll. So I often strolled around the pagoda, and a lot of people chatted with me. Sometimes friends walked with me. That's it. That's my answer. It's a basic question gets a basic answer. I will try to say this straight. When you're freestyling, obviously you won't. There's no script. You just know what you need to say. And to be able to know what you need to say every time takes practice, but you'll never say, we don't do scripts. I don't believe in scripts. I only believe in structure. All right? You use your English to make speaking according to the structure. Where are you from? That's an interesting question, I think, because I'm from Chodao. It's a lovely place. I really like it. I really like it, and I wish I could go back because the people were nice and the atmosphere, now that's my word, that's not a word you have to know. The atmosphere was special. It was just, I just have good memories of that place. For example, I have a story. I don't actually have a story, but I'll freestyle. For example, I have a story, and here's an important point, right? So there's no such thing as a perfect answer, and you don't need to be perfect, and you don't have to speak quickly, you don't have to flow 100%. One of the rules of grading is that if a test taker has to pause and think about what to say, then don't lose any points. If you have to pause and remember a word that's different than thinking about what to say, what is best to say. So I'm going to think for a second. Let me think for 1 second. So I really like Chodao. For example, there's a story. I'll try to just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. It's always easier. You don't have to sugarcoat anything, and you're just gonna know about my life now. So let's start with pretend I'm asking you. Tell me about your hometown. I'm from a town called Chodao. It's a great place. I think it's full of nice people and good atmosphere. You know, it's a countryside town. You know how it is. For example, I have a story. When I arrived early in my arrival in Chodao, I was just wandering around. I was just walking around. I met plenty of people, and at that time, I did not know a lot of Vietnamese. So the people of Chodao were very friendly, and they approached me. They talked to me. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to be nervous. I wasn't scared because of my bad language, because I couldn't speak Vietnamese well. The people of Chodao were friendly, happy, and even if it was difficult to talk to me, they still took the time to talk to me. They took the time to sit and chat with me. In English, if they knew English, we would speak in English, obviously. But everyone was enthusiastic. That's it. That's my answer. And actually, that answer was much longer than it needed to be to end it for such a basic question. Let's run through another question. I'm going to write and speak. Let's do, right, so normally the question about art really messes people up. They really have a difficult time with talking about it because you don't realize this, but everything is art. Everything is art. So I'll just do, are you good at art? And we'll also do you like art? So, that one simple answer. In my case, I am, but you may not be. I'll answer from your point of view that you're not. So you'll do a lead in. No. I'm not. Simple answer. Number two. I think or I feel, so your emotions. I think art is dumb. And not exciting. I'll change this. Let's use one of the words from the list, all right? I know there are many, many words, and because I'm an expert, I can use all of them. So, but we'll use one from the list. So, I think art is, okay, we'll take one of these, so. I hate art. I think I hate art, and it is not exciting. Obviously, we need to add some more words to the feeling list. Fun, dumb, stupid, smart, all of these adjectives. That's the main thing about step 2. It's you need to use adjectives, and this is the perfect way to use them. I know I call them emotions, but it's about adjectives. Check out that lesson, all right? Step 2. All right, so step 3 is for example. For example, I'm not going to add that. For example, my teacher gave us homework Now, it should be art homework, but you may not think to say art homework, all right? Doesn't matter your English level, all right? So that's why we're doing this. I'm going to show you that even if you don't have a high English level, you can still do very well on this test. You're going to miss some words, right? Using an adjective before homework would be perfect, right? And a native speaker does it naturally, but you don't, so don't worry about it. For example, my teacher gave us, and you might not even say us, because you said me, you said my, you're going to say me. My teacher gave me homework. It was art. Now you need to use one of your body words. What do you do with your body? You can pick anything. I couldn't. You might not say couldn't. You'll probably say I did. I didn't pick Pick up what? What do you pick up? Pen. I didn't pick up the pen. I was bored. I yawned. Sleep on here? No, whatever. I yawned. I went to sleep. I didn't do my homework. I got a bad mark. I can't design those spaces, right? But I yawned and I went to sleep. There's too many baby words. We all know them. The point is, when you do your for example, you talk about what you did, not what you thought, not what someone else did, not what they told you to do, not what you wanted to do. What did you do with your body? What did you do with your body? Use the body words. I didn't even pick up the pen. I just went to sleep. I just laid in bed, or I just watched TV all night and went to bed, went to sleep. I didn't do my homework. That is true for me. I was very bad. I was a bad student. Didn't do my homework often. Anyway, it's basic words, and it becomes more interesting if you use them in this way. Let's do one more example. We could do the do you like art? I find sometimes that there's a lesson about art and art galleries. You think of an art gallery question. All right, I'll do, right, so often art galleries, a lot of people haven't been to an art gallery. We still need to answer this question in an interesting way. Here's how you do it. Do you like art galleries? Have you been to an art gallery? Something like that. Step one. No. I've never been, blah, blah, blah. I've never been to an art gallery. Basic skill, basic rule of questions. Repeat the question in your answer. You should know that. Everyone should know that. If I ask you a question, part of your answer is to repeat the question back to me. So, do you like art galleries? No, I don't like art galleries. In this case, no, I've never been to an art gallery. I think or I feel. I think, let's just say you think you might like them. Actually, I'm going to say most people I've talked to don't. They think that they don't care. So, say I wouldn't. Wouldn't is more advanced. You will use it later. I don't enjoy art. And say happy. I am unhappy when I talk about it. I am unhappy when I talk about art. I enjoy, unhappy. Talk is about it. That's okay. For example, now you are tempted, you think you want to talk about this moment, right? You're in the room with an examiner and you have just told the examiner, I am unhappy when I talk about art like right now. No, you can't do that. Because, for example, is to tell a story in the past about somebody with a name, probably you. So, for example, we can use the last time we did this. You were in your class at the English Center, and your teacher made you talk about art, and you didn't like it. I was studying for the exam. My teacher, now what did he do, or she? What did your teacher do? My teacher pointed. You could say pointed. You could say they opened their mouth. You could say they stared at you. Whatever they did with their body. This is unusual. This is new. This is a different way to think about speaking. Yes, I know. But it is not difficult, just different. You can practice this and you can become very, very good. Okay? So, I was studying for the exam. My teacher, I would say pointed because, I always point. I know it's rude. Some people consider it rude to point. Use your whole hand to point. Anyway. My teacher pointed her hand at me. To answer. The question. And then you'll tell the rest of your story. It's best if the story is true. If the story is true, it's easier to talk about. So if it wasn't yesterday and it was last week or last month or I don't know when, in the past, so for example, in the past I was at an English center and my teacher asked me a question. I opened my mouth to speak, but I couldn't think of what to say. Or my teacher asked me a question and I looked away. I looked in my book because I didn't want to answer. You can say anything that you did, if you did it. So step 3 is actually one of the longer parts of your speaking answer. And if you're taking the speaking test for speaking part 1, the general simple questions about yourself and your opinion, I actually say you don't need to use step 3. You only need to use step 1 and 2. You probably shouldn't, because step 3 is pretty long. And in speaking part 1, the examiner wants to get through a lot of questions. So it's best not to talk too much, because they're simple questions. They just need simple answers, and they're feeling. Anyway, so that's the example. Your job now, obviously, is to try it. I hope this has helped you, and I'll see you in the next lesson.